Hey everyone. Yeah, I know, the voice currently still sucks, and that's going to be the reason why you're hearing me only briefly here, and why there are still going to be other people who are reading the scripts for these videos that are coming up. You will not hear me until my voice is recovered. I'm also moving, so that's fun. Point is, you will not hear me for at least another week, or maybe just under that. Also, there are two things before I let the current reader of this video take it away. Alongside the move, I am also going to be talking about the general state of the channel in a few weeks' time, see what's going on, jump into the new year with that, and also, very thankfully, some sponsors have allowed us to use the audio from previous instances so that I can save my voice where possible. Big thank you to them, so if you do hear a less groggy version of me in sponsors, that's why. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the video, and I will continue to save my voice. Thanks.
Ahoy, this is Captain Robert. You may know me as Bife's Dungeon Master in our D&D campaigns from Meteorian Core or Stormforge. Or you may know me from the Destiny community at large for my time as being one of the original attendees of SweatCon, DestinyCon, and now GCX. I'm honored to help my dear friend deliver his communication from the stars, as many of my good friends and Destiny community members have over the last few videos. So let's get to it. In this season, we're starting to see a sort of B-plot emerge, as we chase down Riven's eggs so that she might grant Savathun's final wish. Osiris is standing alongside us and working to understand the Veil. Today, we're about to take our first little dive into this story, and we're going to be exploring what progress he's made so far, and what he's discovered about how the Witness accessed the Pale Heart. Osiris's pursuit of this knowledge began with what might be the final log within Veil containment. This conversation between Osiris and Nimbus reveals more on the nature between the Veil and the Traveler and how the Witness might have used it.
I've reached the extent of what I can glean from the research data.
What do we got?
Less than I've hoped for. But the last of Chioma Essie's research has led me to an intriguing topic. Ghosts.
Ghosts? As far as I know, Neomuna never had any contact with a ghost before you all showed up. We knew about them, but...
Precisely. Chioma Essie was researching the entanglement of light and dark without fully understanding either. Our ghosts are a link to the light of the Traveler. Then how was the Witness able to, on numerous occasions, communicate through them?
Is this about the magnets thing? The parallel energy fields, right?
Very good. In areas of darkness, the Witness is able to create a link, not unlike what it created with the Veil and the Traveler.
Ah, like the Vex are able to hack into the Cloud Ark with their tech. It's a parallel connection.
And I believe that connection may not be one-sided. I believe that our ghosts may be able to leverage this connection against it.
Turn the enemy's weapon against them. Well, that sounds great. But how?
That I do not know. But what I do know is that while the Witness is out of our reach, it is also out of the reach of our ghosts. Which means whatever lies beyond that portal, whatever is inside the Traveler, has left the Witness blind to our actions.
And given us an opportunity to make a plan without it knowing.
Precisely. The Witness has played all the pieces it can. This is its final act, win or lose. Whatever we do from here determines the fate of everything.
No pressure.
So to dumb all of this down, the energy and influence of the light and dark are linked. Whilst we were in areas of immense darkness, the Witness was able to tap into any conduits of light that followed us. In this instance, these conduits were our ghosts, which is why the Witness not only spoke to us through them on multiple instances, but was also able to use them to link into the Veil. Osiris postulated that we might be able to make use of these parallel energy fields to our own ends. So perhaps we could use the inverse order to harm or even follow the witness. Osiris talks more about this with Mara Sov in the first week of the seasonal narrative.
Tell me, Guardian, does helping Riven sit with you as it does me? She is a blade held in our hand, held too tightly, or trusted not to slip, and it will draw blood.
Airing your concerns to the Guardian as well. Doubt is a useful tool, Queen Mara. Double-edged, is it not?
This wish was crafted by Savathun. Riven cannot be trusted with it. Has the Veil offered any answers?
My study has yielded many interesting curiosities. I understand how the Witness opened the Traveler, but not yet how to replicate it. I need more time.
I wish we had more, if you'll pardon the phrase. Time would allow me to insulate us from Riven's ulterior motives. But we've left the Witness undisturbed for too long. We must act.
Risk is a thing I've learned should be managed, not provoked.
Riven is risk incarnate.
To follow the Witness, I must reconstruct the bridge it forged through the Guardian's ghost. But the Veil is not a docile subject. Abuse it, and a similar fate suffered by the Dreaming City could repeat on Neomuna.
So we bide our time, while you seek an answer. Until then, we have a dragon to charm.
All of this is seemingly going nowhere fast. There is potential for Osiris to understand how we might follow the Witness, and there is perhaps the possibility of us forging a further understanding. But there are risks, and it will take time. But this is not the full extent of Osiris's findings. I want to try and cover this more in depth as time goes on, but for the moment, there is something that's worth looking into immediately, and that's the potential link between the ley lines and Strand. This is explored in the lore of the Supercluster shotgun, where Osiris's studies are interrupted by Saint 14 as he's on the cusp of an interesting bit of speculation. We are all connected. I admit this despite the few people I would rather not share a paracausal connection with. Some people, many people. Osiris. Osiris! Strand weaves around Osiris's hand. It dims and brightens, casting a green light onto the messy scatter of books, star charts spread across his desk and the surrounding 6 feet of floor. Osiris! What? Osiris lowers his hands. Saint 14 is there, a solid wall of exo in the doorway. Saint crosses his arms. You didn't answer my call. It is crucial that we learn how ley lines operate. I believe they share a connection with Strand, if only I can unlock it. His handful of Strand extends and loops around him, spiraling towards the ceiling, turning the purple of Saint's ribbons to gray. I am reminded of Nimbus's tale of the river. Strand connects our minds, but what part of us also touch ley lines? I liked Nimbus in your stories, Saint interjects, mild. We should visit them. In a mood like this, a mild interjection can't stop Osiris. Queen Mara's Techion's can affect matter through ley lines. Their joined will pulls on threads woven through the ascendant plane, 2 connected systems, the warp and the weft of our universe's fabric. One, a spool of thread for this world, and another, perhaps, for the ascendant plane. Osiris's strand grows brighter until Saint's massive hand engulfs his own. No master of darkness, Saint takes control with a gleaming void tether as the glow of the strand slowly fades. "How long has it been since you've seen the sun?" Saint asks. "I was experimenting with solar light just the other day. You know this." "Not the same. Come. Stubbornness is unbecoming." Saint tugs gently at Osiris by their joined hands. Osiris stops in his tracks and snorts. "But the question between us is that of hard-headedness." Ikora's going to give them a talking to if Saint's laughter gets through the soundproofing to her office again. So he persists. "It is late, and I have not seen you since you set your robe on fire. The work will wait." Osiris lets himself be led out the door, the connection between them still glowing bright. I think the ending there is important for the sake of understanding what's required to bridge the gap. Osiris and Saint are now wielders of darkness and light, respectively. Their shared connection is one that not only charts across time and their own romantic interests, but also across the universe's paracausal forces. I believe that last line saying, "the connection between them still glowing bright," is important because it highlights the necessity of this synergy of the light and darkness. Osiris talking about the Techeuns using the ley lines to affect physical matter is no coincidence either, given that it's another example of beings with both light and dark using those powers. In this instance, the Techeuns are using a dimension of darkness, aka thought and emotion and power found in the ley lines, to affect the light, aka physical matter within our reality. This commentary of light and dark being interlinked will matter. Back in the season of The Lost, we learned just a little bit more about the ley lines thanks to Crow and Mara.
Are the ley lines natural phenomena, or something the Awoken created?
They're naturally occurring paracausal forces that predate the Awoken. The only entities that might know their true origin and makeup are the Nine. But I don't think they're telling.
So the ley lines are naturally occurring, which is another plus for the Osiris theory, because if the Awoken had made them, it would have been almost certain that they didn't link. I can't help but think of the way Strand is meant to work when the ley lines are described. It also reminds me of Egregore, but this is something I want to explore in much more depth. But here's something interesting stated about Mara and Ikora about the nature of moving through the ley lines.
As I'm looking at these charts of the ley lines, I'm seeing considerable overlap with once secret Awoken outposts.
Yes, our trade secrets revealed. The ley lines were a means by which we expanded our empire without notice of our enemies. Though we have lost so much in such a small amount of time, Oryx's arrival those few years ago undid a great deal of work.
Could these routes be repurposed? Move other forces or ships? Like how the Hive navigate their tomb ships?
I very much appreciate the way you think. Speak with me in private.
That's not guaranteed to be relevant, but it makes for an interesting bit of thought. If Osiris is right, and Strand is somehow linked to the ley lines, then perhaps moving through them is something that requires a little light. Who knows? All this speculation brings us to the bitter note of this week, where Osiris informs us that progress is still slow.
Guardian, I'm afraid progress is slow. The Veil is a clever tangle in and of itself. It reforms as the consciousnesses connected to it ebb and flow. They rush in, awash with dreams and wonder, and then drain away. I believed that once I understood the Veil, mechanically, once I understood Strand, that I would see its patterns with new clarity. That has not happened. This is not like charting a course through the currents of a sea or the depths of space. It is an architecture defined by how we intend to imagine it. Not dissimilar to the Ascended Plane, but if more like its opposite. The Ascended Plane mirrors aspects of our world, aspects of will and import, to those who traverse it. Those aspects are decided upon through our actions. The Veil, conversely, weaves not with our will, not our decisions, but with intent, unfiltered by logic. What we feel, not what we decide. Mapping such a thing would be like rebuilding a creature from the calcified remains we found aboard the pyramid ships. They are an image of a dissection, a deadened echo of existence. But to look at them as they are, to see their disparate parts, even understanding their anatomy does not give us the knowledge to make them as they were. I will continue to seek the path the Witness forged into the Traveler, but I am no longer confident that it could ever be walked again. Riven may be our only option.
So maybe this refines our understanding further. The ley lines and the Ascendant Plane seemingly mirrors our will and our world. Our actions help create this space. The Veil, on the other hand, seems much closer to the pure darkness, as it's created in a context that's much closer to our raw emotions. Regardless, Osiris's final note is what leaves us in a place of uncertainty. It's not clear if Riven will be our only option, but I think it's clear to tell there's something more about the Veil that we just haven't seen yet. Like any good breakdown from our lore master, we seem to be left with an equal amount of questions as answers. Either way, I'm honored to help deliver my friend's message to you all, and honestly, I wish you could all see the smile on my face as I say this. This has been Captain Robert reading the words of My Name is Bife. Per Adulcia ad Astra. See you all Starside, Guardians.